I'm Hannah.
And I'm Shay, and we're Dinnernational.
Today we're making Peruvian food.
Peru is a diverse country with arid plains, tall mountain peaks, and tropical rainforests. Peru was home to some of the oldest civilizations in the Americas, tracing its heritage back to the 4th millennia BCE. Modern Peruvian cuisine blends Amerindian and Spanish food with strong influences from Chinese, African, Arab, Italian, and Japanese cooking. The 4 traditional staples of Peruvian cuisine are said to be corn, potatoes, quinoa, and beans. Today, we're making 2 Peruvian classics: Seco de Cordero, a delicious stew of lamb and potatoes, and Causa de Atún, a South American cousin of a potato and tuna salad, paired with steamed rice, a simple corn salad, and a Peruvian version of Salsa Criolla. This is a meal fit for kings. Let's get started. Seco de Cordero is a delicious Peruvian lamb stew. Honestly, this kind of reminds me of the lamb stew my dad used to make when I was a kid with like lamb and potatoes. So I'm kind of going to channel a little bit of that energy today. What I have over here is 2 pounds of lamb meat. This is lamb leg. I just cut it into like little pieces, about inch or 2 inches. This is like a nice fatty cut of lamb because we want it to, like nicely render out. It's super tasty. I'm going to make a quick marinade over here. Okay. These little cubes of lamb go into a bowl. What I have over here is vinegar, a 1/4 cup. This is a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. This is 4 cloves of garlic that we've minced up. A tablespoon of cumin. You can use a little bit less if you like, but we like things cuminy. And this is 1 tablespoon of salt. And about the same amount, like a teaspoon and a half pepper. I'm gonna give everything a really nice mix. I'm gonna make sure that all of my pieces are thoroughly coated in this delicious marinade. The acid in this marinade will help to tenderize it, and all of these nice flavorings will seep into it. So we're just going to marinate on room temperature for 30 minutes to an hour.
All right, so we're going to be making Causa Rellena or Causa de Atún. This can be made with chicken or tuna. There's a couple other varieties as well. We're going to make the tuna variety today. It's pretty simple. It's kind of a pantry recipe, I'd say, especially since we're using canned tuna. But what I'm gonna do is boil 3 potatoes, skin on. We'll peel that off after. Put this in cold water, and you're gonna take 2 tablespoons of kosher salt and bring these to a boil, and I'll let you know what to do next. Our potatoes have boiled and are nice and soft. I'm going to strain them into a colander and let them cool completely before we mix the rest of the ingredients in. So I'm going to make the tuna filling. This is kind of similar to a North American tuna salad. I'm going to take 1 cup of canned tuna fish that you've squeezed the water out of, and this is half of a small red onion. Make sure it's really finely minced because you don't really want big chunks of red onion. Maybe you do, but I don't. So, all right, and this is half a teaspoon of salt. I hope it won't be too much. This is 1 Thai red chili. This is not traditional to Peru, but we're going to use this because this is what we have. So normally they would use an ají limón chili. Couldn't find it. So 1 Thai red chili with some of the seeds taken out. And last but not least, mayonnaise, the lifeblood. This is about 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, and mix it together. If you find that this is a little too dry, you can add more mayonnaise. You want this to eventually hold up when chilled in a mold. That is our tuna mixture. There are many different things that you could add into this dish. Some people put on tomatoes or hard-boiled eggs. We're just keeping it pretty simple today. We're gonna be adding an avocado in a little bit. I'll show you that. Keep this in the fridge while you're preparing the rest of the ingredients and ready to make your molds. So I'm going to peel these potatoes and then mash them together with a tool. It's time for the mashing. So I'm going to pour these potatoes in the same pot that I'd used to boil them. And I have a potato masher. You can use a ricer, I think that's preferred, but this is what we have. Yeah, I mean, this week we're not gonna use a hammer, but right? So in Peru, potatoes are kind of the lifeblood. Everyone eats them. And causa actually means cause in Spanish, but they say that the Andean people said that causa means life. And it's the life of the party. It's a really great appetizer. And I'm saying this, I've never had it before, but I think that it's a good combo. Geez, these are some, oh gosh. You know, my mom makes a good tuna fish casserole. So these are pretty well mashed. I'm gonna keep working on it, but I'm gonna add some of the liquids in here. This is 2 limes worth of juice, so some lime juice in here. It's gonna add some tartness. See, this is a special potato salad, isn't it? This is a 1/4 cup of olive oil. This is the secret ingredient of Peru. It's ají amarillo. I guess it's not a secret. It's put in literally everything. We couldn't find the whole peppers in the jar. All we could find was ají amarillo paste. It smells delicious. We're gonna use that. This is about a 1/4 cup. Yeah, this is like pretty potent. Ooh, and it's all over my hands, so that's gonna be good. This is a 1/4 cup of chopped cilantro. You don't have to use this ingredient, but we had some, and it'll add a little pop of green in these potatoes. This is a 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper. I'm going to mash. And you kind of want to mash this into, not a dough, but kind of a dough, you know? So do check for seasoning, taste it. And if you need to add some salt, add some salt. But we had salted the water, and because we had cut our potatoes, they're already salty enough. So I believe I have thoroughly mashed these potatoes, and I'm gonna set these aside until we're ready to use it. You can keep it in the fridge and let it chill for a little bit.
So my meat has been marinating for about 2 hours. I kind of got distracted and did some other things. But you know, the longer the better, right? Like 3 to 4 hours is only gonna make it a little bit better. So I've got this Dutch oven heating over like medium-high heat. There's like about a couple tablespoons of oil in there. I'm just gonna fry this lamb, just to sear it a little bit. I'm gonna go fat side down. Always go fat side down. You know, this is technically an optional step, but then, you know, searing your meat, getting it a little bit brown is always good. It adds to the flavor of the dish. So I'm gonna fry this in 2 batches because I don't want to crowd the pot. You've seen us do this a couple of times before. My first batch is almost ready, so I'm gonna pull the meat off onto a plate. It's got a nice amount of sear on it, and I'm going to do the same thing with my second batch. I've been sneaking little pieces of this. It's almost like this dish is ready. It's so delicious already. Lamb, cumin, vinegar, fried. Wow, it's just so delicious. So it looks like my second batch is almost seared as well. This is not entirely cooked at this stage, but then we're going to braise this for quite a long time. You know how to make a stew. This fried meat is really dangerous sitting next to me. It cannot be trusted. So I chopped up 1 large red onion. Yeah, you heard that right. It was a red onion. It looks like Peruvian people use red onions predominantly and use it for frying as well. While normally we use red onions for like garnishes and salads and things like that. I'm going to fry 1 large red onion in the same pot that we browned our meat in. I was careful not to clean it up because we want all that fond, all the crispy, crunchy bits at the bottom. We want those. Sorry, this just makes me cry. Woo! Onion tears. I'll just let this cook for 2 to 3 minutes while I go wash my eyes. So our onions have been frying for 2 to 3 minutes. I have washed my eyes. I'm gonna pour some ají amarillo pepper in there. It lends this really beautiful taste and beautiful color. I've never cooked with this before, so I'm like super interested in trying this. But from what I read, if you don't find this pepper, you can just puree up some orange bell pepper to achieve that kind of color. And the taste is quite similar to a cayenne. And I'm going to add 1 whole bunch of cilantro that's been chopped up quite finely. Stems and everything. Don't waste the stem. Ooh, that smells so good. Wow. And this is a great time for us to reintroduce our meat with all of the juices. And if you have any reserved marinade, you can add that in here too. I'm going to. Here we are. Give everything a nice toss. Wow. I'm ready to eat this right now. But yeah, we gotta let this finish cooking. So now I'm gonna add the beer. Oops. So yeah, so this beer, that needs to go in here too. This is just like a classic light beer. A whole bottle. Don't feed this to your kids. Yeah, I'm just joking, right? I mean, the alcohol gets cooked out and this is completely safe for kids to eat. Peruvian kids would attest. And then I just poured in a cup of chicken stock as well. I'm gonna give this a good stir. And now I'm gonna let my lamb simmer while I quickly peel and quarter some yellow potatoes. My potatoes have been quartered. They look really pretty. And I'm just going to nestle these potatoes in with the meat. Slippery little boys. Now I'm gonna put the lid on, move this to the back burner and let it cook for 20 to 30 minutes on low.
Okay, so we're going to assemble our little cups here. We're only doing 2 because it's just the 2 of us. This is enough to make 4, maybe more of these. These are 4.5-inch molds, little ramekins. You can use smaller if you'd like. You can also make it in one big dish. So I'm gonna put the potato in first in a layer. You wanna make sure that you press the potato into the corners of the ramekin. Maybe make the bottom layer an inch thick, no more than an inch thick with the potato, but really stuff it in there. You're gonna make this thing pretty full. The next layer is avocado. I'm gonna slice this very thin. And remember, not all causas have the same ingredients. Ooh, this is a good avocado. Okay, so I have half of this avocado sliced. I'll slice the other one if I need to, but I'm going to just kind of layer these in one layer on top of the potato. Okay, so that's one layer of the avocado slices. And tuna, it's tuna time. I'm gonna make our tuna layer, and that also is gonna be about an inch, but no more than an inch. So the idea is that when we pop these bad boys out of their containers, they hold into this nice cylindrical shape. I'm gonna finish this other ramekin and then put the top layer of the potato on. So you'll notice that these cups are very, very full. We thoroughly packed in the ingredients. That's so that it'll hold its shape. I'm gonna pop these in the fridge, and that's going to aid in firming these up and making this a successful dish. We're moving on to the Salsa Criolla. Hold on, Criolla. Salsa Criolla. I made this for Argentina last week and we were pronouncing it wrong, so I believe it's Criolla. It's a little difficult to say. This is different than the last one and you'll see why. I have 2 red onions that are thinly sliced that have been soaking in salt water for 10 minutes and dried thoroughly. I keep saying thoroughly. And I'm going to add to this some of our ají amarillo. You remember that ingredient. It's in everything. So we're gonna add that in there. So nice. It gives everything such a nice like golden color, you know? I have 2 tablespoons of fresh squeezed lime juice. This is about 3 tablespoons of chopped cilantro, stems and all, and 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, half a teaspoon of kosher salt, and some black pepper. It's always so awkward. All right, and you can add tomato to this if you want. We wanted a simple salsa criolla today. Look at that, oh my goodness. And this is an excellent garnish for Seco de Cordero. And now you have this. I don't know what I'm saying. You have this, okay. We're just gonna keep this in the fridge. In the fridge. We're just gonna keep this in the fridge until we're ready to eat.
Ooh, look at that. This smells amazing. My mouth is watering. This lamb is falling apart. The potatoes are falling apart. It's time for our final touches. I have like half a cup of frozen peas and carrots in here. If you have fresh, you can use those. This is totally an optional ingredient. Just adds like a nice pop of color to that. I switch this off. The residual heat in the pot will just defrost these frozen vegetables. And I have another big bunch of cilantro. This is like about half a bunch that I finally chopped up. This goes in as well. Yummy, yummy. Lamb, cilantro. It's a really good combination. And as you can probably guess, I have a pot of rice going. Rice is a really good accompaniment with this seco. And like Hannah said, we need the onions as well. All right, we're almost ready to eat. This is such a simple recipe, non-recipe. Butter's melting, and this is just like 1 can of corn. We've just drained it. I'm just gonna add this in here, give this a little tossy toss in the butter. We're not even trying to cook this. We're just trying to kind of like heat it through. 1 teaspoon of cumin, small pinch of salt. Add like a dash of vinegar if you'd like, or lime. I'm just gonna keep this simple. That's it. This is the dish. All right, let's eat some Peruvian food.
Yes, let's do it.
Look at this Causa Rellena. This just looks like a beautiful tower. Good job.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I have been sneaking a couple of bites from the leftover remnants, and the potato and the tuna just really works together. I almost feel bad to break this work of art, and my mouth is watering, so.
Let's have a little bite.
Yeah, baby.
Good?
It's creamy.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, it's really good. It's actually way better than I thought it would be. I mean, I don't really eat a lot of canned tuna, but then, wow. Who would have thought that tuna and potatoes work together in a dish?
Mashed potatoes, yeah.
Like the Peruvians did. Everybody should be listening to them. It's a really good combination. And I can taste a hint of that avocado, which further adds to the creaminess. It's really nice.
Yeah, and the ají amarillo, you can taste that in the potatoes. It's very nice.
So apparently, corn is such an integral part of Peruvian cuisine. So, you know, I kind of have to take a spoon of the buttery corn.
Oh my gosh. I love buttery corn.
Me too. It's just one of the simple pleasures of life. It's so super tasty. And the seco, the onion and the cilantro, I have actually kind of like blended together to make like a really nice flavorful broth that kind of really works with the starchy potatoes.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. The lamb is incredible.
I just took a bite of that.
And this actually just kind of breaks apart with a spoon.
I just keep saying wow. I mean, that's, yeah, most used line of the day is wow and thoroughly.
The Peruvian food has thoroughly wowed me. I didn't get a little bit of the Salsa Criolla. I would love to try some.
Wow. Oh no, I did it again.
Salsa Criolla?
So tangy.
That's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And seriously, it's like so much milder because you soaked it. I totally see myself using that tip for other non-Peruvian dishes too.
Yeah.
Like soak the red onion in water for a second.
Tones it down a little bit. Yeah.
Wow. This has been a secret for me.
Yeah, Peru. So awesome. And I really like that they use that ají amarillo like in everything, you know? It's like, it sets this food apart from other South American food.
Yeah. It has got this distinct flavor. It's that like a little bit different.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's hard to explain. It's kind of peppery, but kind of fruity almost.
And you know what I just noticed in this? The beer. Just now. It's like really light. It's not like you're tasting a lot of beer.
I'm not tasting any alcohol, but then I'm tasting the hint of the back notes.
Of a light beer. Yeah. It's so good. Yum. I can't believe it. That was a bad.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna finish eating this dish. We really recommend you should try this. See you next week.